What's up, everybody? My name is Gage and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be going over a disc bag review with you guys. I've been playing for about a month now with some friends. I kind of got brought into it by a couple friends and it just kind of hooked with me and stuck. So I've been really enjoying it, but I wanted to document my journey on my gameplay and how much I can improve and see where I can go from there. So yeah, without further ado, we're gonna get into the bag. I'll go over the bag, what I carry to the course on a typical day other than just like my disc, and then we'll get into the disc. All right, let's get started. First thing we're gonna talk about is my bag. I'm carrying this Innova bag. I don't remember the exact name of it, but nice and simple. You got big pocket for all of your disc. You got a smaller pocket up top, which is where I keep like putters, as well as I played a couple glow rounds with some friends, so I keep a couple glow discs in here. It's got nice side pockets on it. Got these zipper styled side pockets on both sides. Great for like throwing my keys, my wallet, phone, anything in there. Got some tape for my fingers because I've been getting blisters kind of bad, so I put tape on my fingers to kind of help with blisters. And it's always just nice to have some tape fingers. Same thing on this side, you got another pocket. Great for throwing your phone in there, whatever. I got a water bottle pouch on the side, which right now I've just got like a little Bluetooth speaker I just tossed in there. And that's kind of like what I'm bringing with me. And then on this side, you also have like another big zipper pocket. Great for, throwing some bug spray in there, sunscreen, whatever you need. I've got bug spray, I toss bug spray in there. So that's my bag I'm carrying right now. Now let's get into my disc. Let's see. All right, we're gonna start off with some drivers. My first driver that I've kind of been throwing here recently, I actually just found this. Didn't have a name or number on it, so there was no way I could call and give it back to the owner. However, this is now my lost and found disc. This is an Innova Halo Boss. It's a distance driver, so 13 speed, 5 glide, -1 turn, and a 3 fade. This has been pretty good for me, getting some decent distance shots with really good fade on the end of it. So if I'm wanting it to curve really hard at the end, this has been doing pretty good at that. So that's the Innova Halo Boss. That's my first one in the bag. Second disc in the bag is the Innova Halo Shrike. This was one of my first discs I bought. And when I first threw it, I was throwing it like 250, 270. And now I'm really close to throwing it to like a 325 and like 330 feet roughly. Overall, great disc. It's 13 speed, 6 glide, a -2, and a 2. See it there. This one's also a really great driver. Most of my drivers, I'm not gonna have a whole lot to say about them. This one's pretty straight. The rest of my drivers are gonna be fairly straight drivers as far as how I'm throwing them. A little bit of fade on this one at the end though, so it's kind of same scenario with the Boss. Next up is my Innova Halo Destroyer. So this is another distance driver. It's a 12 speed, 5 glide, -1 turn, and a 3 fade. This one's really great for me, making some really nice forehand shots that tend to shape up at the end a little bit with the fade. Overall, great disc. I actually most of the time am grabbing this disc. I find myself reaching for this disc off a tee box more often than not with any other disc. So this is really good for me so far. As a beginner, this is like kind of my go-to driver. So that's great. Next up, we've got the Innova Halo Gorgon. Pretty sick, like Medusa looking scheme on that one. This is gonna be a 10 speed, 6 glide, -2 turn, and a 1 fade. This is awesome for shooting just some absolute laser beam shots. I have a good way of putting it other than that. Like, you throw it where you want it to go. It's gonna do pretty good. So yeah, that's my Halo Gorgon. Love it. It's been great. Next, we're gonna get on to some fairway drivers. So, fairway drivers up next. Right off the bat, we've got the Innova Halo Thunderbird. I mainly am a forehand player, by the way. So just for the record, that's what I'm throwing right now is forehands. I've been practicing some backhand throws. Not the best at it yet, so we're still working on that one. But these are all my discs that I'm throwing right now. So this is just kind of, what I'm playing. Most of them, like I said, I'm throwing forehand. So, anyways, so the Halo Thunderbird, you've got a 9-speed, 5 glide, 0 turn, and a 2 fade. This thing is amazing. Flight is super straight. And then obviously, a little bit of fade at the end because of the tooth on the fade. It's a good disc. I don't use it a whole lot. I find myself more often than not reaching for maybe something that I'll get a little bit more distance out of, like my Destroyer or my Gorgon. However, if I just throw a really bad shot, I throw it 30 foot off the tee box and hit a tree or something, and I need it to fade to the right at the end, and I have a fairly clear shot still to approach, I'm reaching for this disc. This is my one that I'm gonna be using. So that's the Thunderbird. Next up, we have the Roadrunner. The Roadrunner is a really cool disc for me. So with this Roadrunner, because I am mainly a forehand player, due to its flight numbers, I typically can get this to curve left and go left, which most of the time you're not going to be doing with a forehand shot. But because of the flight numbers that this disc has, it will hold on to whatever angle I throw this disc at. So that's really cool. I do like that about the Roadrunner. So we'll get straight into the numbers here. The Roadrunner is a 9.5 -4.1. So that -4 is the reason why it will just hold whatever angle you throw it. The one on the end, if I were to throw it, perfectly straight, this is really gonna hold its line and just finish with a little bit of fade at the end. So really great disc, I love it. Next in the bag, we kind of have the complete opposite of that. We have the Firebird. So the Firebird is gonna be my disc where if I want it to just curve really hard, then I will throw this one. Flight numbers on this are gonna be a 9304. 9304. So kind of the absolute opposite of the Roadrunner. So they kind of go hand in hand. These are both perfect discs. They complement each other very well. One is gonna hold angle really good. This one, if I accidentally throw it on a little bit of angle, it does a really good job of coming out of it. So I do really like the Firebird. Next up, we have kind of an older disc that I just kind of randomly came across. I got this on Whatnot. This is a Haley King Hawkeye Tour Series. I don't know the flight numbers on this one. If I was gonna guess, I'd say it's somewhere around a 8-speed, 4 glide, 0.2 maybe, or 0.1. It's a really straight flying disc. I don't throw it very often. It's in here because I've had a few shots with it that were kind of good, and every once in a while I'll find myself where I'm like, hey, this might not be a bad idea to try and throw this disc because I know it goes pretty straight and it's a lower speed. So that's that. Next up, the Leopard 3 Halo by Innova. Its speeds are going to be a 7.5 -2.1. So very low speed fairway driver, which is awesome. I love these lower speeds. They are really good for me. Like I said, all of these fairway drivers are really good for me on approach shots. If say it's a really long par 4 or a really long par 3, these are awesome because I can throw a distance driver off the tee And then I know if I am not close enough yet, or I don't think I have the confidence to throw a mid-range, then I'm reaching for one of my fairway drivers to try and close that distance a little better. This one flies pretty straight for me. Got a little bit of fade at the end. It kind of reminds me of like a really slow Destroyer almost. It kind of has that same flight characteristic, so that's great. Next up, I've got the Innova Dragon. I believe this is in a DX plastic. Yeah, DX plastic. So it's going to be an 8.5 -2.2. It's also going to be a fairly straight driver for me. It has a little bit more fade than this Leopard 3. So putting them kind of side by side, this one's going to finish a little bit harder to the left or to the right, depending on if you're throwing a forehand or backhand. So that one's also great. I love it. Next up in my bag, got the T-Bird 3. This is a Halo. Flight numbers on it are going to be really hard to see. This is also another Whatnot disc that I came across. It is a 8-speed, 4-glide, 0-turn, 2-fade. Also an absolute laser beam. I have been throwing this disc a lot since I got my hands on it. It flies really, really well for me, especially as a beginner. Being a lower speed driver, I don't have to worry about getting a lot of arm speed to get this disc to fly how it's supposed to, which is really nice. So the T-Bird 3 has been my go-to a lot off of tee boxes. I have probably said that about almost every disc I've talked about so far. But this is truly my go-to. I'm grabbing it more often than not just because I know how it flies for me. I know I can throw it how it's supposed to fly because I can generate the speed for it. And yeah, overall, it's a great disc. I'd love to get a new one of these, you know, just to replace this like older beat up plastic. But yeah, next up, we'll get into my mid-range discs. And first up, we have the Innova Halo Rock 3. Love this thing. Absolutely love this thing. This was one of my first mids I bought. When I first bought my disc, I didn't know what the flight numbers meant. So I just was like, I'm gonna do pink everything. And I just bought a whole lot of pink disc. And this one had pink, so I grabbed it. Flight numbers on this are gonna be a 5-speed, 4-glide, 0-turn, and a 3-fade. As a mid, the fade for me, as a beginner player, the fade doesn't really affect me a whole lot for a mid. And I believe it's probably just because I'm not quite throwing them the distance that they probably should be being thrown. However, this one does have a little bit of fade. It does kick to the right or to the left a little bit. And that's really nice whenever you're having to throw a shot and, you know, maybe come around a tree or throw some sort of weird approach where, you know, you're throwing under something or trying to go around something. This has been really great. Next up in the bag, I have one of the only discs in my bag that does not match any of my other ones. We've got the Discmania MD3 mid-range driver. This is a C-line disc. I believe I got this from a friend, if I remember right. He was like, hey, you should try this one. And I was like, okay, cool. So anyways, enough said with that. It is a 5-speed, 5-glide, 0-turn, and a 2-fade. A little less fade than my Rock 3. That's why I have this in my bag, is because it typically is not gonna finish as harshly. So, next up, one of the newer discs I just recently bagged. This is the Innova Mako 3. Pretty cool. I do like this disc a lot. It flies really, really straight. I don't have a whole lot to say about it, honestly. I haven't thrown it a whole lot yet, but just because of the flight numbers alone and me just kind of throwing it around in my yard, I figured out that this disc for me is gonna fly really, really straight. This one is also in a Star plastic, so it's not in that Halo plastic. It doesn't have, you know, the Halo rim or anything, but it has that same like rubbery feel to it. It's not like a hard, tough plastic, which I really like. I think that's why I ended up getting stuck on Halos rather than maybe buying something, you know, more in like this DX series plastic. It's, you know, that's a hard plastic. It's really tough. Whereas these Halos, you know, they're flexible. They feel rubbery. I love them. If I hit a tree with it, I'm not gonna feel bad about hitting a tree with one of these discs because I know they're gonna hold up. So that's to that. Next up, we'll go into my putters. I did have quite a few putters at one point. Most of them I threw all in just a second bag that I've been letting my wife play with though here recently. So these are my putters. I have 2 of these Star Aviars. They have flight numbers with a 2-speed, 3 glide, 0 turn, and 1 fade. I just recently also picked these up at the same time as I picked up my Mako 3. I was throwing, if I remember right, the first putter I was throwing a glitch, which was good. However, I realized that that disc is more of a hybrid disc. It's like a catch disc, something that you really would probably just play with it like in your yard. It's not bad. I can't seem to get it to do what I want the disc to do. So we picked up these. These have been great. I played around with them last night, so that was really fun. The only other thing I have left in my bag is a couple glow discs here. I've got a driver, a mid, and a putter. Nothing too crazy. I genuinely don't know the flight numbers on these. They're kind of just more for fun whenever my buddies want to go play at night. So I just grab these and throw them. So nothing too crazy there. So that is my what's in the bag. Thank you guys for joining and coming and checking out my channel and watching. I hope that you guys hit that subscribe button and you guys enjoy the rest of my content that I'll be releasing. I'm gonna be doing a lot of this. I am sure that as I keep playing and getting better, you know, I'm sure my bag will change and I'll go through different discs and kind of decide what I really like and what I don't, especially as my game improves and my arm speed. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But other than that, thank you guys for joining and checking out my channel.